Hey guys, welcome back to Warhammer Multiplayer. Today I'll be playing as Slaanesh, the Chaos God of Twisted Pleasure. Up front, Daemonettes on Steeds of Slaanesh, the fastest and most dangerous cavalry in Call of Warhammer, but insanely expensive to field. For my meat shields, I've got 3 Chaos Marauders, the most numerous and irreplaceable of the Savage Norskins, and I also brought some axe throwers that are moving up right now. Very squishy unit with short range but massive missile damage. If given time to fire just a couple of volleys, they can shred through pretty much any 1 HP unit. New in 1.6, the Greater Demons of Slaanesh, the Keeper of Secrets, existing solely to destroy dreams and fulfill nightmares, growing ever more powerful on the intensifying emotions of those that fight them. Scary stuff right there. And right next to them got some Chaos Warrior Halberds led by an aspiring champion. Chaos Warriors moving up as well. And some Chaos Knights decked out in full plate. Cavalry unit moving up behind them. And for my infantry corps, I've got some Slaanesh Chosen. The greatest of Slaanesh's mortal warriors. They take extreme pleasure in killing enemies in slow and agonizing ways. And of course, no Slaanesh army is going to be complete without the Chosen Knights, one of my favorite models in Call of Warhammer. They look amazing with those mohawks. Vod Gojira commanding the forces of Reikland. Leading off, we've got the Knights of the White Wolf, the most infamous of all the Templar Order who worship the war god Ulrich. Wielding massive cavalry hammers, they have a devastating charge bonus. Really hope they make it into Total War Warhammer, they're so cool. For range component, 2 Master Engineers with Hawkland long rifles, very accurate and very long range but low in number. And 4 of the Altdorf Company of Honor, also known as the Sons of the Reich. They're a Reikland-based regiment of highly trained and well-equipped halberds dedicated to the service of the Emperor and the city of Altdorf. Also got 2 warrior priests of Sigmar, the light in the darkness against chaos. They inspire Imperial troops and get stuff done with those 2-handed warhammers. For artillery, we've got a Hellstorm rocket battery and 2 Empire mortars. And for cavalry, we've got 2 very famous knightly orders, the Knights Panther, fanatically devoted to preserving the human form against the corruption of chaos. Amazing models on those, and of course, no Reikland army complete without Reiksguard, the highly trained bodyguards of Karl Franz himself, high armor value, and devastating charge. In the rear, some Pistoliers, just some mounted skirmishers that are great versus 1 HP units. Let's get into the battle. This quiet offends Slaanesh, so it's time for his Chosen to make some noise, and what better way to do that than rip some Empire soldiers apart limb from limb very, very slowly. But first, I have to get into melee without getting my army shredded, which isn't necessarily going to be a simple task. I have a straight up rush army. My only ranged units are those 2 axe throwers, so the game plan is just get in melee as quickly as possible without losing everything. Get my Keeper of Secrets into melee, into the thick of the fighting. They have an awesome model, by the way. Look just like a tabletop version I've seen. And basically just surround my opponent with superior cavalry and mobility. You can see the Daemonettes and the Chaos Knights out here on the flank. I do have a substantial cavalry advantage this game. The Daemonettes are utterly insane in this mod. They're treated like light cavalry, but they have huge attack and defense values. They're the fastest cavalry in the game, which is pretty lore friendly because speed is what Slaanesh is all about on the battlefield, and they have 3 hit points, which means killing them is a real challenge. But they do cost 6,000 gold crowns, so they're very, very expensive to field. But the Empire army, they have a lot of range firepower. They do have some good cav, so you would imagine when fighting against the Empire, there's going to be a bunch of artillery, and that's what Gojira has brought. Mortars are very accurate in Call of Warhammer. The Pistoliers are really good at killing 1 HP units, and the Hellstorm rocket battery is one of the best pieces of artillery for killing blobs of infantry and causing a bunch of carnage. So I'm going to have to be very careful as I move up here. Definitely don't want to get too hasty, and actually the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to point it out real quick. But first, I'm flanking around with my Daemonettes and some Chaos Chosen through the woods here, but I am getting too hasty with my Chaos Marauders. You can see they've moved up a little bit too far, and this is one thing about Medieval 2. I do not have great micro in this game. It is very different than Attila, having to constantly micro when your guys are running and when they're not, that kind of stuff. It does take a little bit of time to get used to, but here come the Reiksguard, and they're going to charge right up the center into my meat shields and utterly destroy my Chaos Marauders. That one unit is just going to die pretty much right off the bat. And same thing, Knights Panther, boom, huge charge into the other unit of Chaos Marauders. They're going to lose about 60 or 70 men in each of those units. They aren't going to rout from the field, so good on them, but that was a big waste of my meat shields. Good on Gojira for getting those cab charges off. He played that very well. Just silly micro mistake from me there, and Gojira capitalized there. So it's not the biggest deal, but because they're just meat shields, but I still didn't want to lose those units like that. It wasn't a good use of meat shields. Daemonettes on the flanks. Those Pistoliers cannot run away. This Slaanesh Chosen is going to get in there, and I'm going to hack through these Pistoliers. They have no hope of getting away. Daemonettes are too fast. I tied down 2 cav units there. One of them is going to manage to pull out, but over on the other side, Gojira's losing his micro here. He's going to miss a charge, and I'm going to get a good charge into the Knights Panther with that Daemonette. And you can see how much faster they are than the Chosen Knights. They charged at the exact same time, and they got into melee that much faster. You can see the Chaos Knights moving up now, but they don't have an amazing charge bonus for his cav, but Chaos Knights do. And the Reiksguard are going to turn their flank, and Chaos Knights going to cut right into the center of their formation. No charge on the Reiksguard, which is bad for them. They need to get that charge bonus off. They have a 9 or 10 charge bonus, and I'm going to cut through 15 or 20 on the charge there. Those Reiksguard are not going to have a good time. Over on the other side, Keeper of Secrets now deep into the thick of the fighting. I'm killing a lot of Gojira's cav right now. The Empire Cavalry is getting beaten up by my superior cav, and I decided to not take an engagement in the center. I flanked most of my melee troops all around to his right flank, and he had to turn, and that's going to give me some really good flanking opportunities. You can see my Marauders are now moving into a position to get a rear charge off, and I kind of overloaded that flank. Hellstorm Rocket Battery have not shot yet. I don't know why. I think they're trying to shoot into the cav, but I haven't seen any shots go off. Mortars haven't really done their work yet, but I'm going to get a charge into the rear of the Altdorf Honor Company. Good charge there. Those halberds are not going to have a good time getting completely surrounded by chaos units, but now mortars are going to open up, and I am blobbing up here, and the Slaanesh Chosen, oh my god, destroyed there. I lost a lot of Slaanesh Chosen in that volley. Most of them aren't getting up, and more Chaos Warriors, oh man, those shots going to kill about 30 or 40, I think. So really good shots from the mortars. They are very accurate in Call of Warhammer, like I said, but my axe throwers are actually helping me a lot over on my right flank. They've shot in, killed a bunch of his cavalry and halberds, and I'm going to kill the Knight of the White Wolf General, which is a big deal. Empire does not want to be losing their gen this early in the fight, and you can see those beautiful models, the purple armor, the gold embossed shields. They look really cool. I love Slaanesh in this mod. They're actually a lot of fun to play there. But the Daemonettes have done so much for me. They've slaughtered the enemy cavalry, and you can see I have a free unit here that's going to start getting some hammer and anvils off. Master Engineers are not going to be able to run away from my cav. I think I did miss it. There was a huge rear charge into the back of a Warrior Priests of Sigmar unit. So Warrior Priests are pretty much off the field. Master Engineers tied down. Look at how fast those Daemonettes are. They're so awesome. The Hellstriders, the Steeds of Slaanesh are so cool to look at. And now I have them free, and this means free hammer and anvils and free charges all day long. You can cycle charge with these cav all day because they're so fast. And I'm going to take out the mortars, and in the center, my Chaos Warrior halberds are up against the Altdorf Honor Company. That's a pretty even fight, but over time, I think I might be able to win that engagement. And of course, I have this cav, so more rear charges into the Warrior Priests of Sigmar, and balance bar shifted so much in my favor here, taking a pretty big lead, and the artillery just did not do enough to my guys as I was moving up. In fact, I didn't really feel it at all, but the charge up the center was great from his knights, but he needed his Hawkland long rifles and his artillery to do more damage as I was moving up, because I have a pure rush army. So once I get into melee, things are going to start shifting, so you got to even those numbers out by killing some before I get in there. So axes throwing into the back, a little bit of friendly fire there, but I did kill some of the Honor Company with those axes, and I have a lot of ammo left on them also. But Keeper of Secrets in the center here pretty much killed everything. There are some Carroburg Great Swords, which I forgot to mention actually. Carroburg Great Swords are on the field as well. They didn't get to do a whole lot. They got charged by my cav and by my Keeper of Secrets, and I've just pretty much completely wrapped this up already. And this is how a Chaos Rush should look. This is something that we might see in Total War Warhammer. Some Pistoliers shooting into the Daemonettes. They're not going to get away. Look at that. Look at them close the gap there. Absolutely beautiful. But one thing you're probably going to see a lot in Total War Warhammer is Chaos Rush armies. It'll be really cool to see Slaanesh units get added, the Hellstriders and the Daemonettes on Seeds of Slaanesh. But basically they're going to be rushing into melee every single time, overpowering you with really high armor units and high charge bonus units, but expensive units. And that's what I did here. I surrounded my opponent, surrounded Gojira, got a bunch of rear charges off. He mismicroed his cav over on the other side, even though he did a great job with the charge up the center to kill my meat shields, my Chaos Marauders. It was too much, and my micro carried the day here. So my micro, quote unquote, my micro on this game is not very good. But the Slaanesh Chosen going to get in there to some Warrior Priests of Sigmar. Good charge there, and going to kill a couple of them. That's pretty much going to be your battle, folks. So Slaanesh is really fun in this mod, and honestly pretty scary to deal with on the higher funds, because when you're playing with 40,000 or 50,000 funds, you can afford to bring 2 or 3 of those Daemonettes on Steeds of Slaanesh, and that makes it really hard to win a cav battle. And Medieval 2 is of course based on winning the cav battles and having more cav than your opponent at the end of the game. So it might have been a little bit unfair bringing 2 of those, but either way they are awesome and I did want to show them off. So yeah, they got 191, 193 kills, I believe. Only 10 kills on this Keeper of Secrets, which was unfortunate. I don't know if that's just because they're bad, or they just didn't get deep enough into melee combat. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed the battle. Slaanesh is awesome. Call of Warhammer is awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the replay. I'll talk to you all later. Indie Pride, signing out.